You all might remember how President Trump showed up to Arlington National Cemetery to honor the 13 fallen service members on the anniversary of their needless death. These service members died because Democrats teed up the worst foreign policy defeat for the United States in the modern era, the withdrawal from Afghanistan. Now that Trump has revealed just how disgraceful and degenerate Democrats really are, leftists are attacking him. His crime, daring to show up and support Gold Star families. How low will Democrats go? That's the question we ask in today's preamble. For the last 3 years, Democrats have run from their stupid, deadly, and anti-American withdrawal from Afghanistan. Democrats showed us what kind of Americans they are when they left millions in equipment behind to be used by the terrorist Taliban, when they left behind thousands of American citizens and vetted Afghan allies in that botched withdrawal, and as their agents in the biased press helped Democrats put the whole story on the back burner. They did this by helping Democrats make sure that the families of the 13 murdered service members were forgotten. But President Trump didn't forget. Neither did constitutional conservative media. And when President Trump showed up on the anniversary of the needless deaths of the Abbey-gate 13, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and their never-Trump allies were outraged that President Trump was not going along with the program. What he was doing was what he's always done, putting the troops and their families first. The America Last crowd blasting President Trump for accepting the invitation from the Gold Star families, even suggesting he broke a law by doing so. In truth, all Trump was doing was elevating the recognition of those who gave the full measure of devotion for this country. One of the never-Trump cheerleaders, John Bolton. Listen to him and how he described Trump's actions.
Well, obviously they think it will help them, but it simply proves the point. They're using the whole thing for political purposes. That's expressly what Congress was trying to prevent, and in the regulations that make it clear that that's not what Arlington National Cemetery is for. I can't predict what the political outcome will be, but I just think it's shameful behavior.
Shameful, says John Bolton. It wasn't shameful for Joe Biden not to show up as he was on extended vacation. It wasn't shameful for Kamala Harris not to show up, knowing her calendar was clear that day. I wonder if John Bolton finds this shameful.
I've been voting for common sense legislation that protects the Second Amendment, but we can do background checks. We can do CDC research. We can make sure we don't have reciprocal carry among states, and we can make sure that those weapons of war that I carried in war is the only place where those weapons are at. Tim Walz was never deployed to Afghanistan. He lied about his service and his rank. But Democrats and their enablers don't find that shameful. Just Trump showing up and doing what he's always done, standing with Gold Star families. In a statement about Trump accepting the invitation from those families, the very families that have been ignored by Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and their agents in the biased press, Kamala said this. Let me be clear. The former president disrespected sacred ground, all for the sake of a political stunt. If there is one thing on which we as Americans can all agree, it is that our veterans, military families, and service members should be honored, never disparaged, and treated with nothing less than our highest respect and gratitude, end quote. After reading this, the Gold Star families, who have been brushed aside by Democrats because they were a political inconvenience, well, those families had had enough.
Vice President Harris, my name is Christy Shamblin. My daughter-in-law, Sergeant Nicole Leanne G., was killed in the Afghanistan exit at Abbey-gate. President Trump and his team were respectful. They listened to our stories and didn't talk much at all. We welcomed them that day, and they were comfort to our family. Vice President Harris, I ask you, why won't you return a call and explain to us how you call my daughter-in-law's death a success? Vice President Harris, why will you not express your condolences yourself? Why have we never heard from you?
After years of being ignored, disrespected, and thrown under the bus, the Gold Star families couldn't contain their grief and anger any longer.
Good afternoon. My name is Herman Lopez. I'm a Gold Star father. My son, Corporal Hunter Lopez, was a U.S. Marine killed in action on August 26, 2021. This message is intended for Vice President Kamala Harris. The one thing that I ask of you And the reason I'm making this message is for you to stop making comments about your support for the military. As a Gold Star father, I know that you have not supported us. I know that you have not supported other Gold Star families. Please stop making these types of comments because that support has not been demonstrated. Your words are hollow and empty.
Hollow and empty, just like her rhetoric and her policies and her brain sometimes. Some were less genial than others, but who can blame them after the way the Democrats in and out of the Harris-Biden regime have treated these Gold Star families for the last 3 years?
This is Mark Schmitz, Gold Star father of Marine Lance Corporal Jared Schmitz. The irony behind your post that you give a rat's ass about our military or our veterans, Jared's brothers and sisters in arms, the rest of the 12, their brothers and sisters in arms, is an outright lie. We're living proof of that. You're despicable. You have zero business running this country. And I pray to God, Americans, wake the hell up and get your ass out of office. You have spit in our face for the last time.
Who do you believe? Gold Star families who have endured unimaginable pain, grief, and abuse at the hands of Democrats? Or do you believe the likes of Kamala Harris and John Bolton? At this point, I should tell you that we had access to the 8 of these families' comments surrounding the Democrats' insane attacks against President Trump, and by extension, the Gold Star families themselves. And where we can't play all of them here, we did on today's Salcedo Storm podcast entitled The Show Behind the Show, Gold Star Families Edition. I wanted there to be an archive of their comments, something that could be heard and shared among our people. I wanted to let the Gold Star families know that I had not forgotten what their kids had done for this country. And I wanted a record of the full depth to which leftists will sink to maintain their unchallenged power over our people. Power they no longer deserve, mind you. Power is all these left-wingers and these Democrats desire, and they're willing to cut right through our own people to get it. I can think of nothing more un-American. Can you?